What's going on, everyone? Adam here from Adam's Nintendo World and GamesReviews.com with another episode, or a first episode of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. We are going to be hopping into the first one, the Great Ace Attorney Adventures. We're going to head in, start a new game, kind of see what this game's all about, and if you guys enjoy it, maybe we'll do more. So let's take a peek. New game.
The Empire of Japan. After opening its doors, a push for cultural transformation brought great waves of Western influence to this far eastern island nation. The revolution washed over the land, making life in the capital exciting and unsettling. It was a period of great change, and some was swept away by the tide. But for one man, the turbulence of that era was just the beginning of an extraordinary story.
Okay, episode 1, The Adventures of the Great Departure. All right, let's see what this is all about. 22nd November, 8:43 a.m. Supreme Court of Judicature Defendants, Antechamber 5. Antechamber 5. I still can't believe it. I still can't believe this is happening. How can it be that just beyond the doors to this quiet little chamber is the highest court in Japan, waiting to decide my fate? Interesting stuff here. Okay, so I guess we are the guy that just pulled the trigger on that gun. The bailiff. What? Oh, no, nothing. Save your glares, murderer. Sorry. My name is... that. I'm a second-year student at the Imperial Yumi University. 3 days ago, I somehow found myself in the middle of a horrifying incident. And now, here I am, awaiting my trial. That's enough! He's not obliged to listen to such abuse, officer. And who are you? I'm this man's lawyer. I'll be defending him today. Lawyer? Yes. And until the judge has given his verdict on the case, no one has the right to treat him as a criminal. Innocent until proven guilty. So you will hold your tongue. Technicalities. Look at you. You haven't even graduated yet. And yet, I still seem to know better than you how a court officer should behave. Right. Ryunosuke? Oh, yes, of course. Sorry. What are you apologizing to me for? Oh, no, I suppose that wasn't my fault. But really, Kazuma, I've never meant to drag you into this. I'm sorry. Ha 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 ha! There you go again, apologizing. Just like always. Though I must say, you've been all over the newspapers these past few days. Yumi University professor murdered in cold blood by student. But obviously, you didn't actually do it. Did you? Of course not. You have to believe me, I didn't do it. I could never murder someone. Then there's nothing to worry about. Straighten yourself up. Hold your head high. You mean... I believe you. I know you're innocent, Ryunosuke. It's going to be my best bet, guys. You got to forgive me. Kazuma Asogi, my best friend, also in his second year at Yumi University. But he's far more clever than I. A star student, in fact. He's even a qualified lawyer. Impressive, considering he's still an undergraduate. It's not that impressive. The very concept of lawyers is only a few years old. Here in Japan, anyways. My qualifications don't mean much. Yet. You said exactly the same thing 3 days ago. But I'm proud to have a friend like you, Kazuma. Truly. 3 days ago? Yes. That's when all this started. Flashback. Congratulations, Kazuma. It looks like you're going to get to study abroad at last. I know. I've been forever dreaming of this day. Finally, those government elites have acknowledged my academic achievements and successes in court. So you'll be representing Japan as you immerse yourself in the most sophisticated legal system in the world. I'm really happy for you, and proud, as your friend. There's not a soul in the university who doesn't know Kazuma's name. He's a living legend. It's like there's some mysterious aura billowing around his temple. I want to bring about change in our own legal system. That's why I have to cross the ocean to see the real thing with my own eyes. The heart of the British Empire. I wish I could see it too. Then come with me. We'd have a wild time tearing up the streets of Her Majesty's City of London together. If only it were that simple. Oh dear, look at the time. I'd better be going. Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a while longer. Good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. See you in English class tomorrow. Then, partner. Okay, is this where the incident happened? It was straight after that. That's when it happened. Asogi, may I have a word? Professor, I didn't know you were coming. Well, this case has personal significance to me, but never mind that for now. Asogi, you should go immediately to the judge's chamber. To His Excellency's chambers? He was looking for you before. You advocating for the defense in this trial was a sudden decision. It seems there may be some confusion about procedures today as a result. Who is this man? I feel as though I've seen him at university before. I see. I'll go at once then. I shall accompany you. Alright then, Ryanosuke. I'll see you in the courtroom. Yes, thanks, Kazuma. Okay. Ugh, this is awkward. If I may. Yes, sorry. You must be the defendant. Ryanosuke Naruhodo, I believe. Yes, that's right. My name is Yujin Mikotoba. I'm Professor of Forensic Medicine at Yumiai University. Ah, Professor Mikotoba. I've heard that name from Kazuma before. As I recall, he's been pushing to get the government to agree to Kazuma studying abroad. Asogi has told me about you. You and he are best friends, I understand. As such, I feel you should know. Know what? Well, as you've no doubt heard, Asogi has been granted permission to go study in Great Britain. However, if he should fail to defend you in today's trial, I'm afraid that the permission will be revoked and never granted again. What? Ah, as I suspected. You were unaware of this. I had a feeling Asogi may have chosen not to tell you. What? He's agreed to defend me, knowing that if he fails, his dreams will be shattered? But I don't understand. Why would the government do such a thing? The administration has to choose from a large number of applicants for overseas study. It's very difficult to persuade them to grant permission, even the most favorable of circumstances. I don't believe it. But I didn't do it, I swear it. I'm not a murderer. I'm sure that's true. Nevertheless, I can assure you that proving your innocence will be no easy task. You see, there are certain peculiarities about today's trial. Sorry? What do you mean? You'll soon understand once proceedings get underway. Huh? But then what should I do? Well, naturally I'm not going to suggest doing anything that could lead to a conviction. Right, so as soon as the trial starts, the judge will pose a certain question to the defense. When that happens, you must answer before anyone else. You must say, I do. I do? But what will the question be? Surely not, do you accept the accusation brought before you? Of course not. Defendant! Court is about to begin. Proceed to the courtroom at once. Ah, it would seem our surreptitious discussions are to be cut short. Seratipius. So allow me to summarize. Kazuma Asogi must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. Of course, as the defendant, the final decision is yours. What are you waiting for? Do you want to be found guilty for failing to appear? Get moving! There's no point in anyone advocating for the likes of you anyway. Wow, these bailiffs are insane. This is it. If the trial goes badly, Kazuma's dream of studying abroad are over. And what's more, I'll be found guilty of murder. And so, with absolutely no idea of what lay ahead, I embarked on that unforgettable trial. Okay. My one and only chance of proving my innocence, the trial that would decide my destiny. And it begins now. 22nd November, 9 a.m. Supreme Court of Justice. Oh, Judicature, Courtroom 2. So this is a courtroom. The Supreme Court of Judicature. No court in the land has more power. I don't much like the look of those people sitting in the public gallery. Lots of military and other uniforms in there. The powers that be have demanded that this be a secret trial. A secret trial? A trial that's closed to ordinary members of the public. Only military and government officials may attend. What? But why? It'll become clear in time. But for now, you need to concentrate, Ryunosuke. It's about to begin. Okay, here we go. There's the judge, and we're ready to get started. Now I'm excited for this. The court will now hear the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. The prosecution is ready, Your Excellency. As is the defense. Before we begin, there is one point of order I would like to confirm. Yesterday evening, the defense made a last-minute request for a change of advocate. That's correct, Your Excellency. I made the request myself. Normally, procedure is for the defendant's advocacy to be decided 2 days prior to trial. As this is an unusual circumstance, I'm obliged to ask for final confirmation now. Who advocates for the defendant in this trial? This is it. This must be the question. Who's going to defend me? That's the question the professor meant. But then, if I say I do, I need to answer quickly. What should I do? I'm gonna wait and see. Wait and see. Kazuma is the lawyer here. I can't defend myself. If I said I do, it would be tantamount to lying. And if I'd been accused of murder, for goodness sake, this is no time for lies. Try to stop fidgeting, Ryunosuke. It's distracting. But if I don't say I'll defend myself now, this thing could end up very badly for my friend. Your Excellency, no confirmation is needed. As I am standing here beside the defendant, I hope it's clear who will be advocating for his defense. Alright, hand up. What's the meaning of this unruly outburst? I would like to inform the court that Ryunosuke Naruhodo will be defending myself. You'll be... What? Crazy times. What are you playing at, Ryunosuke? Professor Mikitoba told me everything just now, before the trial. He did what? He said that your dreams of studying abroad would be dashed if you were to lose. How sad. It means you don't have faith in me. You think I won't be able to get you off. No, it's not that, really. It's just that, well, on the off chance that things don't go well for me, I couldn't bear to be the reason that you... Yes, I knew that's how you'd feel, which is exactly why I decided not to tell you. Professor Mikitoba shouldn't have stuck his nose in. Very well. The court is hereby recognizes the defendant's desire to advocate for himself in today's trial. Well, well. Does the accused admit defeat already? Renouncing his own counsel? Really?
Objection!
Objection. Love it. This stuff's getting going already. Make no mistake, counsel. This merely shows that the defendant's innocence is so apparent, he's confident he can speak for himself. Isn't that so, Naruto-san? Oh, yes, exactly. Exactly what I wasn't thinking. I'm not confident at all. In fact, my mind's a complete blank. I realize you're in charge now, but still, try not to look so bewildered. Well, for a mere university student to be brought before the Supreme Court, you must have perpetrated a most heinous crime. Indeed, sometimes when I read words live, it makes it much harder to read them, and I don't know why. As you are no doubt aware, this is the Supreme Court of Judicature of Japan. Accordingly, the very highest standards of conduct are expected of all present. Do I make myself clear, Defendant Naruto? Yes, Your Excellency. It is therefore my duty to assess your competence for the task you have undertaken. My competence? What does this mean? He's questioning your ability to do the job. Well, he can't be questioning it more than I am. So, let's start with the very simplest of questions. Yes. Kindly state before the court the name of the victim in this case. Well, that's easy enough. I've heard of his name more times than I'd care to remember. But... wait. Ugh, I'm so nervous. I can't even remember that. What was it again? Ryusuke. Let me guess. Your mind's gone blank. You know me so well. All the relevant information for this case can be found in the court record. But I can't even find that. It's simple. You can access the court record with a press of R. If you ever find yourself forgetting something, just consult that. It's all in there. I just have to press R for the court record? Alright, there's no time to lose. Alright, so here's the court record. This is the list of evidence you've collected. Now try switching to people instead with R. Okay? Let's go R. Kazuma Asogi. You'll find details about the victim in here. When you're done, press B to go back. Okay, so there's our friend. There's the professor who told us to represent ourselves. This is the prosecutor in the trial. And this is the victim, John H. Wilson. He was visiting professor of medicine at Umeå University from the British Empire. Okay. So, remember, everything to do with the current case can be found in the court record. Now, you'd better not keep His Excellency waiting any longer. Go on. Okay. Find the victim in the people section of the court record, then press X to present. Try it now. Alright, so we're going to present John H. Wilson.
Yes!
Yes! The victim's name was Dr. John H. Wilson. Huh. Well, at least you can remember the name of an esteemed member of your own university. Dr. Wilson was a visiting professor from England, invited to Umeå University 3 years ago. Okay. Indeed, which is the reason why this case has such profound implications. The British Empire. It is at present our country's most valuable foreign ally, and as most of you will be aware, we have just signed a new treaty together after a lengthy negotiation. There can't be anyone who hasn't heard of the Anglo-Japanese Treaty of Friendship and Navigation. And yet, despite these delicate circumstances, the blood of an Englishman has been spilt on our soil. You two are both undergraduates at the Imperial Umeå University, are you not? Murdering a professor from the very institute that provides your education. Have you no honor? Well, I got lots of honor, my friend. You watch it, Achi. But I didn't do it. This case is coming under great new scrutiny from our allies on the other side of the world. The court therefore wishes for a speedy resolution to this matter. In other words, our feeble government is scared of upsetting England's policymakers. Okay. And you're a convenient and expendable scapegoat to blame for this crime. So that's why this trial has unusual peculiarities, is it? Exactly. Our government needs to convict someone as quickly as possible. All because the victim was an Englishman. Yes, Dr. Wilson was an Englishman. But nationalities and treaties won't make any difference for me here. Let's see. The fact is, I was there at the scene of the crime. Alright, we're flashing back yet again. Oh dear, look at the time. I better get going. Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a little longer. It's like deja vu. Good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. See you in English class tomorrow. See you in English class tomorrow then, partner. Alright, so he's gone, so now we're going to see what happened. The British Empire. Wow. It's incredible to think. Wait. I've seen that man at the university. I'm sure he's a visiting professor from Great Britain. I don't know his name, but still, I should go and say hello. Okay, so let's go see what this guy's all about. So I went over to the professor's table and introduced myself to Dr. Wilson. Now then, let me pose my next question to you, defendant. Yes, Your Excellency. How did this professor of medicine, Dr. John H. Wilson, lose his life? State before the court the cause of death. The cause of death? Well, obviously that was, remember that in the court, every assertion must be backed up by evidence. By evidence? But how? Find the piece of evidence that shows the professor's cause of death and select present. Do it now. Okay, so we have a post-mortem report. Death occurred a little after 2 p.m. and was caused by loss of blood from a gunshot to the chest. The bullet did not pass through the victim's body. Okay, so we're going to present this. Here we go. Yes! Yes! I love that. Well, according to this document, the victim suffered a hemorrhagic death due to gunshot trauma. Learn to read, you imbecile. That's the post-mortem report, I take it. Sorry? Yes, that's right. The post-mortem report. In the West, a doctor dissects corpses to identify the cause of death in an autopsy. But here in Japan, a police officer merely inspects the body and draws conclusions that way. Oh, I see. As long as I'm not going to be tested on any of this later. This is a so-called photographic print of the scene of the crime. Okay, so you guys can see the gunshot wound right there on his, the collar of his coat. You can clearly discern scorch marks around the bullet hole produced by the powder explosion. In other words, we should assume that the victim was shot at close range. Yeah, because the powder would explode at the end of the gun, right? Thank you, counsel. The court will accept this modern scientific evidence into record. The photographic print of the victim has been entered into the court record, which we can look at, remember, by pressing R, so we can hop in there and check it out. So that's the photographic print. Well, that's something I've never seen before. It's clearly superior to a drawing. The detail is incredible. Very well. I'm satisfied with your answers. Let's start with the trial. Everybody looks right. See that guy sticks his arms out and he's all ready to go? Certainly, Your Excellency. So, without further ado, in order to better apprise the court with the facts of the case, the prosecution hereby calls its first witness, who was there at the scene of the crime when it happened. Ugh, this is it then. I think I may have worked out what the professors had in mind. The professor? You mean Dr. Mikitoba? Yes, clearly you're the defense lawyer today, not me. But that doesn't mean... Well, I can still act as your assistant. Ah, of course. When he was speaking with me before, he simply said, Kazuma Asogi must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. Emphasis on defense lawyer. He never said anything about assistant. He really has been sticking his oar in, hasn't he? Maybe. But any help you can give me would be greatly appreciated, Kazuma. Well, my first piece of advice is rein in that crazy look of bewilderment and control the cold sweats. Only if you rein in that crazy headband and control the cold stares first. So anyway, as you can tell, blue text is in my head. Other text is being spoken out loud. Alright, who's this fella? Witness, state your name and occupation for the court, please. Of course. My name is Satoru Hosonaga. I am the head waiter at the Western-style restaurant called La Carnival. Blood! He just coughed up blood! Are you alright? You seem to be coughing up some, He did, he just coughed up blood. That's a clue for something that I don't know. Poison! Is it poison? I don't know. It's a regular occurrence. It really doesn't bother me. Well, it really should. As everyone knows, the capital's southeastern quarter was developed by foreign visitors some years ago. It's become a very fashionable district now, full of hotels to accommodate overseas guests. This grim crime occurred in one of the district's so-called restaurants, an Occidental eatery 3 days ago. Understood. Hoso Naga-san, you will kindly tell the court everything you can about the incident. At once, sir. And no petty interjections from the aspiring lawyer boy, please. Is that me? Am I the aspiring lawyer boy? Perspiring, maybe, but aspiring? It was just after 2 p.m. on the day in question. We had a few diners at that time of day. The lunchtime rush was over, and there was only 3 tables still occupied. That fits in with my memory of it, too. There was hardly anyone else in the place. More blood, of course. It was when I was in the kitchen, putting away crockery and cutlery. Boom! A gunshot rang out, so I hurried out to the dining area to see what had happened. I found the victim, an English gentleman, slumped in his chair. And standing immediately beside him, gun in hand, was the accused university student. Hold on! Let me just clarify something here. Well, I did pick up the gun that I found lying on the floor beside the professor. I didn't shoot him. I believe I asked you to refrain from petty interjections. The court wishes to listen to the witness's report of what he saw, you amateur. But the next time you interrupt at an inappropriate time, you will be penalized, Defendant Naruhodo. Don't worry. You'll have your chance to fight back. For now, we must quietly listen to the witness. Ugh. If I may confirm one point, waiter. Standing beside the victim with a gun in his hand was the same man we see here in the court today? Yes, without question. I see. And apart from the accused, was there anyone else standing beside the victim? No, there was no one else around the table but the deceased Englishman and the university student. Huh? Wait, what did he just say? There was no one else around that table? What's the matter? That's just not right. When I went over to Dr. Wilson to say hello, there was a woman sitting opposite him at his table. Really? And that's not something the waiter could have missed. I've been warned about the interjecting, but still, what should I do? Interject. Yes! Yes! I love that. Just a moment, please. Dr. Wilson wasn't alone that day. I'm sure of it. There was a lady sitting with him at the same table. Attention! Dear me, what are we going to do with you? With your blatant disregard for the court proceedings, I'm beginning to wonder if you're not a fraud. Could it be that the accused, this mere student, is not a real lawyer after all? But I'm sure of what I saw. Hasanaga-san, is there any chance you're mistaken? Perhaps your memory of the events is hazy? No. The deceased gentleman came to dine alone. I don't believe it. I've actually have a rough plan of the restaurant as it was that day. Please, have a look if you'd like to. Alright, so something else is being added into the record. Let me see. Sketch of the establishment's layout, drawn by yourself, I presume? That's right. I'm afraid I used the back of my business card. It was a turbulent situation. However, as you can see, the gentleman in question was seated alone. Who's lying? Someone's lying here, guys. Well, you're clearly a very conscientious waiter. Thank you, sir. The court will take this plan and add it to the court record as evidence. Oh, well, is there a problem? Hand the plan to the court officer at once. Of course. Here you are. Alright, this guy didn't want to hand over evidence very willingly, did he? What was that about? He's been completely calm and collected until now. Something certainly seems to have shaken him. The waiter's business card has been entered into the court record, so we can go check that out anytime we want. And there might be a clue there, something that doesn't seem right. So, let's see. The court has now heard a precise of the case? Priestess of the case? Yes, at the moment the gunshot was heard in the restaurant, the only person in close proximity to the victim was the defendant on trial today. It would seem we are looking at a black and white case here. Defendant Naruhodo? Yes, Your Excellency? If you admit your guilt at this stage, the court is willing to look mercifully upon you. In other words, you may have some small reprieve in terms of your inevitable punishment. I called this waiter as an unsworn witness in order to explain the details of the case in court, but I must warn the defense, if you are determined to pursue matters further in this trial, the prosecution has decisive evidence from sworn witnesses who were present at the scene of the crime. What do you think I should do, Kazuma? What do you mean? Well, I'm going to be found guilty on one way or another, it seems. Wouldn't it be sensible to plead guilty at this stage and hope for a more lenient sentence? Everyone keeps telling me that this trial is unusual, about these peculiarities. You said it, Professor Mikitoba said it, and so has the judge, and the prosecution. I'm scared of what lies ahead if I push this. As I said from the outset, I believe you're innocent. I trust you, and yet, despite knowing that, you're willing now to throw that trust back in my face? Is that it? What? If the accused is in fact innocent, then the defense lawyer is duty-bound to prove that innocence by whatever means necessary. Are you just going to abandon that duty? Are you going to give up on yourself? The battle hasn't even begun yet. The defense pleads not guilty, Your Excellency. We invite the prosecution to stop making empty threats and bring out its witnesses. Then we'll just see how decisive this evidence really is. Commotion in the courtroom. Alright. Indeed. Prosecutor Achi. Please continue with proceedings. Tisk, well, you were warned. The young can be so reckless. You know, many call me a saint, but I can be a devil when I want to be. Ugh. In a few short moments from now, that dumbstruck young mouth of yours will be silenced forever. The prosecution calls its next witness. Very well. Officer, bring forth the witness at once. Okay, I wonder who it's going to be next. Oh, 2 witnesses at once on the stand? Witnesses, kindly state your names and occupations for the court. Yes, sir. The great Nippon Imperial Army Sergeant Aisa Nosa, reporting for duty, sir. Myself, I find employ as a purveyor of fine articles of antiquity from the efflorescence of our nation, Nippon, and conduct my trade from Rasute, a humble premise in the 2nd District. I'm not even going to try. Kayurio Korakuda, at your service. An antique dealer and a soldier. What an unusual pairing. Both of these gentlemen were present at the restaurant on the day in question. They must be the diners at the other tables that the waiter mentioned. Myself, I habitually take tea of the most exquisite aroma at the establishment in question, always post-noon, and, not infrequently, converse with interested parties regarding the curios with which I make my business. I can't understand a word that old man is saying. He's an antique dealer, and it sounds like he's a regular at La Carnival. He seeks out potential customers who may have an interest in antiques and tries to sell his wares to them. He obviously targets La Carnival because of its high-class restaurant with a rich clientele. Right, I see. Although, to be honest, that sergeant looks more like he'd be a seller rather than a buyer. Now, you both witnessed the precise moment of this most atrocious incident. Is that correct? Affirmative! The enemy unit was seen attacking the foreigner and what can only be described as an act of war. Sir, it was that black uniformed rogue infantryman over there who unloaded his firearms, sir. This man's as impossible to understand as the other. But I'm almost sure I heard a strange noise during that last thing, he said. So, this is the decisive evidence that the prosecution was threatening? the soldier's claiming that he actually saw the precise moment you shot the victim dead. Yes. Well, are you starting to feel uncomfortable? If I'm honest, I was feeling uncomfortable from the start. Now, the court will hear your formal testimony, please. You will state everything you saw at the precise moment that the incident occurred. Yes, sir! Sir, yes, sir. Sorry. Standing by ready to report, sir. Unsavory memories of the most acerbic afternoon. Man, you guys are going to be making fun of me for all the stuff I said. Alright, witness testimony. What the witnesses saw. I was ingesting a regulation beefsteak at the restaurant while having a tactical discussion with the old man. Myself, I was extolling the virtues of a particular fine golden curio to the military gentleman. At that precise moment, a firearm was discharged. I observed the enemy's actions with my own eyes. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian, and from the back, that cowardly little weasel. I was on my hands and knees, investigating the whereabouts of my mysteriously absconded precious curio. I'm saying so many words wrong. Well, so you, Sergeant Nosa, actually witnessed the vital moment? You saw the split second when the defendant fired the weapon at the victim? Yes, sir! Affirmative, sir! That wicked university cadet, sir! The cruel and unforgivable enemy! What time do we live in when an English gentleman may be assailed in the broad light of day? But this is ridiculous! I didn't shoot anyone! Is that really true? Yes! All I did was pick up the gun that I saw laying on the floor. After I'd said hello to Dr. Wilson, I went back to my table and sat drinking some coffee. Then, when I'd finished, I got up from my seat to leave the restaurant, when I noticed an English-made gun next to the chair where the professor was sitting. I thought perhaps the professor had dropped it, so I bent down, and just as I was picking it up, bang! Well, that's the truth. There was obviously a criminal on the scene somewhere. And somewhere in these two witnesses' testimonies, there's a clue as to who the criminal was. There is? You must exercise your right to cross-examine the witnesses. Cross-examine? Do it now! As we have heard, Your Excellency, there is no room for doubt in the testimony of these witnesses. The defendant is clearly guilty. It's time to bring this despicable student to justice. Certainly, the testimony the court has just heard eliminates any vestige of doubt. Therefore, it is my grave duty to declare the verdict of this trial. Yes! I just want to say it once. What is the name of the emperor? What in the name of the emperor is the meaning of this outburst? The defense demands the right to cross-examination. Dear me, dear me. Let me guess. The Hachi-Maki headband boy next door told me to do it. How pathetic. Huh? How did he know? The prosecution objects. This is a clear waste of time. The defendant obviously has no experience. How can he possibly carry out a cross-examination? The defense is asserting its right to a cross-examination. Whether or not you think he's capable of it is irrelevant. Kazuma is so commanding. Very well. Let the defense conduct a cross-examination of the witnesses. Alright, this is where the battle really begins. But I don't even know what I have to do in a cross-examination. Isn't it obvious? You have to expose the lies in the witnesses' statements. How? You didn't fire the gun, which means what the soldier said has to be a lie. Well, yes, but it's just a case of proving it, and the key to doing that is evidence. Right, evidence. All you need to do is present some decisive and indisputable evidence that proves the witness is lying. Now, let's go. Don't let them beat you. Alrighty then. It's all or nothing. Alright, cross-examination. what the witnesses saw. I was ingesting a regulation beefsteak at the restaurant while having a tactical discussion with the old man. Myself, I was extolling the virtues of a particularly fine golden curio to the military gentleman. At the precise moment a firearm was discharged, I observed the enemy's action with my own eyes. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian, and from the back, the cowardly little weasel. I was on my hands and knees investigating the whereabouts of my mysterious, absconded, precious curio. But we shot him from the front, right? And the bullet didn't go all the way through, so it couldn't have been from the back. Ugh, I have no idea what I'm supposed to do here. Listen, we know that there are lies lurking in these statements. It's time to expose them. I understand that. The question is, how? Like I said before, the key to this is using evidence that you've collected. You can examine and present evidence while a witness is giving giving testimony by pressing R. Go through each witness statement and the details about each piece of evidence and compare all the facts. Somewhere in there, you'll find something that doesn't add up. In other words, an inconsistency. An inconsistency? When you find a statement and a piece of evidence that seems to contradict each other, present your evidence with X and rip the witness apart. Just be careful, because if you assert a contradiction that has no basis, you'll be given a penalty. If you're dealt too many penalties, the defense's case will fall apart and you'll receive a guilty verdict. So that's it. Peruse the evidence of the court record and find an inconsistency with a witness statement. Alright, I'll give it a try. You can hear the witness's statement over and over again, as many times as you'd like. So keep your head and be measured in your attack. Good luck, partner. Alright, so I was ingesting regulation, so I don't think there's anything wrong with that statement. Myself, I was extolling the virtues of a particular... So these guys are saying they were talking about different things, but I don't have evidence for that. At that precise moment, a fireman was discharged. He observed the enemy's actions with my own eyes. I'm going to let that stand for the moment. Black uniform varsity fired on the Englishman and from the back. Okay, so we're going to present some evidence here. And we're going to say... No. The gunshot wound is on the front. So let's present this. Yeah. Present.
Yes!
I love how he just shoves his hand in the air, and then I love the shifting eyes, like, He's sweating. What? What are you playing at, cadet? What's the meaning of this subordination? Thrusting some photographic print in my mustache. Inconsistencies, sir. I mean, yes. There's a clear inconsistency here. What nonsense! What can this print possibly tell us that we don't already know? Well, obviously, that, I know what I want to say, but the words just won't come out of my mouth. I think this proves beyond any doubt, Your Excellency, that there is no place for an amateur student here in this grand courtroom. This is so frustrating. Oh, please. Surely this doesn't require an explanation. It couldn't be more plain. To spell it out would be an insult to the court. Kazuma, what? What are you talking about? It's apparent from a single glance at the photographic print presented by the defense that there's a clear discrepancy here with the sergeant's statement. What? Sergeant Aisa Nosa. Yes, sir. What, sir? The statement you just made was this. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian and from the back, the cowardly little weasel. Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. I witnessed the crime with my own military-grade eyes, sir.
Yes!
But no, that just can't be. And why not, cadets? Because... Take a close look at the print. The victim, Dr. Wilson, died from a bullet wound to the chest. Sergeant, according to your witness statement, the culprit shot the victim from behind. And that is the obvious discrepancy here. Well, how do you explain it? Oh, what? What was that? Something just popped up from behind his back, but he pushed it down again. Certainly, there's a clear discrepancy with the facts here. Would you not agree, Sergeant Nosa? He's sweating like crazy. Yes, sir. At this juncture, that would appear to be indisputable. Until the moment I heard the firearm discharge, my eyes were firmly fixed on the delicious La Carnival steak, sir. What? The last testimony the court heard has proven one thing beyond all reasonable doubt. This witness, Sergeant Aisa Nosa, did not see the defendant firing a gun at all. Ugh, that's absurd. I think the conclusion we must draw is simple. There is no place for an amateur prosecutor here in this grand courtroom. Inconsistency, Sierra awarded. We got a little badge. There's been a complete turnabout in the mood of this trial, just from one discrepancy. So, this is what being an ace attorney is all about. But I definitely saw him. That university cadet there, he was pointing the firearm directly at the victim's back. But I never fired the gun. All I did was pick it up off the floor. And you, old man, you didn't see the moment the victim was shot either? Myself, I have already been quite clear. The gunshot interested me not. I was far too busy on the floor. Too busy on the floor? Sorry, what were you doing? Hunting for treasure. Treasure? Indeed. The Hoei Era Koban, my prize coin. On each occasion when I visited that restaurant, it is my habitude to place in my bosom pocket a particular trinket of interest from my shop, in the hope of meeting a rich diner who might like to buy it from you. On the day under scrutiny, it was to the military man that I proffered my Hoei treasure. Believe that he would purchase such a rare find, I did not, but I was presented with a little alternative. And then, after averting my eyes for the briefest of moments, it was there no more. It simply vanished. The Koban vanished? Hunting around under the table, I was, in case mayhap it had fallen there, and then it happened. Boom. You heard the gunshot, you mean? Indeed I did, but I heeded it not, for I was concerned only with finding my treasure. Nothing could distract me. Out of interest, did you find the coin in the end? No. I see. That lamentable day, the precious Hoei Koban was lost to me. No doubt, some unscrupulous scoundrel pocketed the prize coin for himself. As I'm sure everyone present is aware, this case demands a swift and decisive resolution. Our government has promised to send a full report to Great Britain by telegraph this very afternoon. Nevertheless, the witness testimony the court has just heard was inconclusive, no matter how subservient our government feels it must be to the British. It would be unforgivable to deliver a verdict on this trial right now. What is your position, Prosecutor Achi? Worry not, Your Excellency. The defendant may have fled a tiger at the front gate, but he will find a wolf at the back. My witnesses have further testimony to make. Explain. Upon hearing their next statements, it will become abundantly clear that there is only one person who could possibly have committed this despicable crime. The equally despicable defendant, Ryanosuke Naruhodo. What? He really seems to have a despicable opinion of you, doesn't he? Ugh. Very well. The court invites the witnesses to testify again. You will thoroughly explain the reasoning behind the prosecution's allegation. Is that clear? As clear as Curico glass, Your Excellency. Yes, sir. At once, sir. Awaiting signal to testify, sir. Excuse me, but there's something or someone peeking out over your shoulder. I think... Affirmative. The newest member of the Nosa family to rise up through the ranks, sir. Name, Ado. It would seem that those straps are a sign of the sergeants being too strapped to afford a nanny. Ido, Teen Shun. Your father is about to quell the enemy. Watch and learn, my boy. Witness testimony. Okay, so Nosa is hard up for some cash. The true culprit. Even if what I saw wasn't the precise moment the firearm was discharged, it's almost the same thing. Yes, pointing his gun at that foreign man, he was that young lad in the black. That much I myself did see. Furthermore, a visual search of the premise at the time confirmed that we were the only personnel present. Indeed, alone he was, the English gentleman, dining all by himself. Therefore, no one other than the black uniformed cadet could have dispatched the Englishman. Over and out. But we weren't the only people there. These testimonies are certainly compelling. Wait, that's nonsense. The victim, Dr. Wilson, wasn't alone at all. Please, enough of these outbursts already. But there was a woman. There was a young woman at his table. You must have seen her. Everyone here must have seen her. If you call yourself a lawyer, then you will respect the rules of the court and speak accordingly. We are not here to listen to your fantasies. It is evident beyond all reasonable doubt that the victim was alone at the time of the incident. The prosecution has photographic evidence of this fact. Is this a photographic print of the scene of the crime, counsel? Indeed. Of the table at which the victim was dying, taken by the investigator immediately after the incident. As you can plainly see, there's only one place set. Certainly, based on the appearance of this print, it would be reasonable to conclude that the victim was not in the company of anyone else. This doesn't make any sense. The court will add this to this new photographic evidence to the record. The photograph print of the crime scene has been entered into the court record. I don't understand. What's going on here? It's just not possible that nobody else saw that woman. The waiter before said the same thing. He maintains that Dr. Wilson came to the restaurant alone as well. But that's not true. I saw her. I swear that I saw a woman with him. It would seem that we'll be able to telegraph the report to Great Britain on time after all. The witnesses' testimonies we have just heard leave no further room for doubt. There are very sensitive political times, as we all know. The ink is still fresh on the treaty with Great Britain. To think that I, Takatsuchi Achi, will be contributing to the amity of these two great empires is an honor. Amity. Okay. How can this be happening? The judge is ready to rule. Stand tall, Ryanusuke. It's not over yet. What? If what you say is true, then there's something going on here behind the scenes. And now is your chance to expose it, to draw out the truth in your cross-examination. I don't know, Kazuma. The defense is entitled to cross-examine the witnesses, but make it quick. Understood? Rules can be so unbending at times. Okay, I actually don't know what I'll cross-examine this time. Last time I knew what I wanted to say. This time, I don't know. So I'm going to look at the court record really quick. Okay, so this is proof that I'm a student. Death occurred a little after 2 p.m. was caused by loss of blood from a gunshot to the chest. The bullet did not pass through the victim's body. Photograph print that shows the victim was shot from the front. Can I look at this? Why is his chair facing away from the table? Okay, because look. Here's the photo. Why is the chair... Anybody else see this? Or am I just me? This doesn't make any sense. I don't think this helps me. Wait. Those are 4 chairs per table. Ooh, I can use a magnifying glass. Okay. So It's a steak bottle. It's like it's staged. Look at this. Okay. I don't know what we're gonna do. The True Culprit. Even if it wasn't President of Irish, it's almost the same thing. Okay, I'm okay with that. Yes, pointing his gun at the foreign man, it was that young lad in black. That much I myself did see. Okay, I'm good with that. Furthermore, a visual search of the premise at the time confirmed that we were the only personnel present. Yes, pointing his gun. Okay. Okay, I'm okay with this. Indeed, alone he was. He was the Englishman man himself. Therefore, no one other than the black uniform cadet could have dispatched the Englishman over and over and out. Okay. Where's the inconsistency here? Something's still wrong about this. I'm going to try to present this, but I don't think this is going to be helpful.
Yes!
Let's see how this goes. I get a couple strikes, so... Well, what about the last statement made by the witness? This is not going to go well. This is just general banter. Seems perfectly reasonable to me. Exactly. Perfectly reasonable in every way. Perhaps you should take a leaf out of the witness handbook and learn to be more reasonable yourself. Okay. Alright. I just need to calm down and think everything through again from the start. Man, oh man. Okay. Furthermore, a visual search of the premise. Let's go back. It's almost the same thing. Okay, sure. Yes, pointing his gun at the foreman was young lad in black. That much I myself did see. Furthermore, a visual search of the premise at the time confirmed that we were the only personnel present. Indeed, alone he was. Alright, I want to present this evidence. Man, I don't actually know. Let's present.
Yes!
Well, oh man, this is not going to go well for me. Oh, I wonder what we're going to do. Alright, let's scroll over to the front and see what we missed. We missed something, so let's figure it out together. Okay, so let's look through this. I think it's here somewhere. Furthermore, a visual search of premise. Alright, let's ask some questions. You have noticed someone else at You must have noticed someone else at Dr. Wilson's table. There was a lady there. Objection. As you have been at pains to point out time and again, I feel like I'm growing callous in my ear. And yet, no one else appears to have caught even a glimpse of this woman. Ugh. If only there had been more people dining there at the time, then someone else would have noticed her. Unfortunately, it was already past 2 p.m. when it happened. The quiet time between lunch and dinner in any restaurant. I know. Of course, the place was almost empty. It's what you'd expect. Certainly, 2 p.m. is neither here nor there in terms of a time to eat. I wonder if there was a reason why the victim was eating at that time of day, and why he was alone. Yes, Your Excellency, there was indeed a reason. There was? This was found in the victim's jacket pocket. What is that, Counsel? This is a medical report card, Your Excellency. It would seem that the victim had an appointment at the clinic prior to visiting the restaurant. Hotel clinic? Yes, there would indeed appear to be an entry for the date in question. The very day of the incident. So, the victim went for a late lunch following his appointment. The explanation couldn't be more simple. The prosecution felt no need to submit this evidence before, as it really has no bearing on the case. I wonder. What do you think, Ray Inuski? We'll see how it is. Well, it's hard to see how it could be related, really. Remember, you can request for it to be entered into the court record as evidence if you think it could be useful. Should I ask for Dr. Wilson's medical report? Yeah, of course I will. Ask for it to be submitted.
Yes!
If I may ask, I'd like to ask for the medical report card to be submitted as evidence, Your Excellency. On what grounds? The court has already heard conclusive witness testimony. Additional evidence would be extraneous, not to mention that the victim's movements prior to his arrival at the restaurant are of no concern. Whether or not they are of concern is up to us to decide. We have the right to explore all possible avenues. I beg your pardon? You have no authority to refuse a perfectly valid request for the submission of evidence. Very well. The court will grant the defense request. Youngsters these days, forever asserting their rights. It's a most disturbing trend. Officer, kindly add the victim's medical report card to the court record. The victim's medical report card has been entered into the court record. Okay, what we need right now is a nucleus. We have to explore things from every possible angle, even if they don't seem relevant at first. Right, I hear you. You can conspire to prolong this trial as much as you like, but it's the day after the festival already for you. Or perhaps you'd forgotten that these witnesses' testimonies leave no room for doubt. Feel free to reiterate for the accused. Okay. Indeed, alone he was. Alright. Therefore, no other black one could have been done. Okay. Excellent work. We've gleaned some new information now. Well, yes, but I don't feel like it's changed as much. I can see that it brings any real discrepancies to light. Okay. I wouldn't be so sure. Let me see that medical report card you got before. Oh, you mean this? Yes. This is a brand new piece of evidence. So, perhaps we should examine it in a little more detail. How exactly? You'll notice that some pieces of evidence bear a magnifying glass. These are the ones you may examine. Press A and you can take a closer look at the piece in question. Use the R stick to move it or flip it around. Okay, cool. And then we can look around. To rotate the evidence in all directions and examine it from all angles. By using the L stick... Okay, you can move the magnifying glass around. Good. You can move the crosshairs around to hunt for clues that may have been missed before. If the crosshairs start to pulsate, press A to investigate further. Alright, good to know. Let's do that. So, partner, I think we should take a closer look at this medical report card. See if there isn't something new to be learned by examining it in more detail. Alright, I'll see what I can do. I need to use R stick and L stick and A to inspect any area of the evidence that looks suspicious. Sounds good. Okay, so here we are. So, name Dr. Wilson. Nothing that interesting on the front side, right? No, there's nothing here. So let's spin it. Just has this information, but let's look inside. And here we go. So I'm guessing his last appointment is this one. Let's have a look. This is some kind of medical history. Ah, and there is an entry for the day the professor was killed. Extraction of a molar with topical anesthesia. Extraction of a molar? You mean he had a tooth taken out? It would seem so, just before the incident. He had a bad tooth removed. Perhaps they used laughing gas. That's the most modern practice in the West for pain relief. Yes, I've heard of this anesthesia. Although it's hard to believe there's anything that can actually stop you feeling pain. Ah, and there's a cautionary note from the medical practitioner as well. Strictly no food or drink besides water for 3 hours post-procedure until anesthetic effect. I have a hard time reading these words. Effects have passed. Really? Sounds like an information worth bearing in mind. The medical report card's information has been updated in the court record. Awesome. With this new information, the meaning of that one particular statement totally changes. So, I think it's time we listen to the testimony again, don't you? Definitely. Alright, we're gonna go back. Okay. So we're gonna look at the testimony once again and see what we can figure out. Okay, so this is the one I want to do. Dining all by himself. Okay, so let's update the medical report here. and see what we get, because he shouldn't have been dining. So let's present this here. Let's have a look. Oh no, oh, wrong thing. Oh, can I not skip this? Is there no button to skip? No, I didn't mean to do this. I just wanted to present it. Alright, come on, let's get out of here. Good. We get it. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, my goodness. Seems like there's an autoplay option for this, but there's no way to actually, like, stop the recording from happening, which is kind of frustrating. So we just have to kind of go through it and deal with it all a second time. Oh, man. Alright, yeah, we're listening to testimony again. Definitely. Okay, let's go back. Alright, we want to present this. Well, I think, but what are you wittering, lad? Call yourself a lawyer? I wish I could. But first and foremost here, I'm the accused. Everyone stumbles on their own words occasionally. Under the circumstances, I wouldn't worry about it. Thanks, Kazuma. Alright, I could see it quite clearly in that cross-examination you just carried out. When you raised your hand straight up like that, so purposefully, you knew exactly what it was you wanted to say. Don't feel like you have to choose your words carefully. Just say what you're thinking. Okay. Here we go. All right. And thanks for the advice. Just say it, my man. Just say it. Kurakutsa-san. This is a medical report card belonging to the victim. Ah, I see. And? I don't see. What of it, boy? Comparing what is written on this report card with your witness statement, something clearly doesn't add up. Dear me, dear me. Have you forgotten my words so soon, you amateur? Sorry, what? This guy loves to hit the table. You are not to interrupt court proceedings with your amateurish drivel. But let's see if I can explain it in words you might understand. It was after 2 p.m. in the afternoon when the victim was murdered at the restaurant. Whatever he may or may not have done before that time is completely irrelevant. But that's, remember, you don't have to use clever language or fancy words. Just make your point. Your Excellency, I believe we're finished here. There's surely no need to prolong this trial further. The witness testimonies the court heard have been clear and concise. This medical report card has no bearing on the matter at all, for the simple reason that there is no one else besides this pale-faced pupil who could possibly have committed the crime. This medical report card has nothing to do with the case. Do you really believe that? What? That outburst half petrified me, boy. Of course I believe it. How could it possibly be relevant? Perhaps because Hota Clinic, which issued the report card, is a dental clinic. A dental clinic? Is that supposed to mean something to me? Perhaps if I told you that the victim had just had a tooth extracted. What? What's this now? And furthermore, if I told you that as a result, the victim had been forbidden from eating. Oh. Just what are you trying to say, cadet? He had orders not to eat? So what? It's all written up in here. No food or drink other than water for 3 hours post-procedure while anesthesia wears off. What? No, that can't. Kurakutsa-san. What, boy? What? As you just heard, when he was killed, sometime shortly after 2 p.m., the victim couldn't have been eating anything at all. No. I always eat after dental work when I'm not supposed to. Not like right after, but before they tell me to. Additionally, there's more? You have assured the court with unwavering self-confidence that the victim was dining alone. But that cannot possibly be the case. Because the victim, as we now know, had just had one of his teeth extracted and was still experiencing the effects of anesthesia. Expertly done, partner.
Objection!
Well, what is this you little upstart? Nonsense, you little upstart. I'm doing lots of reading today. These are baseless accusations. My goodness, these are baseless accusations. Just look at this photographic. This is hard, guys. You can clearly see the plate of food at the victim's table. Use your head. That's the very discrepancy we're talking about. Or can't you follow the logic? How dare you? I think it's fair to say that the tables in this restaurant's case have turned. Wouldn't you agree? Huh? Yes, most definitely. So having just undergone some dental surgery, the victim was unable to eat. Which is one very crucial conundrum. Who, in fact, was eating the pictured beefsteak? The court will hear the opinion of the defense on this new puzzle. I assume you're ready, counsel? Counsel? Oh, that means me, doesn't it? All right. The answer to this question is going to be pivotal. This is the start of your turning this trial around. Show them what you're made of. Got it. So, the person eating the steak at the victim's table must have been... Obviously, it can only be someone who was sitting at the professor's table. You will not let this go, will you? There was no such person. Yes, there was, because I saw her. When the incident occurred, we know that the victim couldn't have been eating anything, yet we have evidence of a half-eaten steak on his table. Therefore, the only logical conclusion is that there was somebody else there eating it. We have strong evidence to support our assertion. It's clear that these witness testimonies are unreliable. If the court decides to push through a ruling at this stage, we will lodge a formal complaint with the Ministry of Justice and pursue a fair retrial relentlessly. Kazuma, are you insane? You would take on the government? Don't worry, counsel. I have no issue with you. What do you mean? I have an issue with them. Those two witnesses in the stand. What? What are you talking about? We have demonstrated with evidence that the victim was not alone. So, if it now turns out that these two of you deliberately lied when giving your testimonies, obviously you will be charged with perjury. Perjury! And since this is a murder trial, you will also be deemed complicit in the killing. Complicit in murder? No! Negative! There's no mention of this at the tactical meeting. I was just following orders. That's right, as the man says. Just say you never saw the gentlewoman. That's what they told us. Oh. What? What did you just say? Korakutsa-san? Oh, no. You were just following orders? Now hold on, lad. I was, You say you never saw the gentlewoman? When you say gentlewoman, do you mean... You saw the victim with a lady from overseas. What?
Objection!
These witnesses gave false statements? Is this true? You pair? Just one simple slip of the tongue. I love his little pinwheel. Oh man, the pinwheel's awesome. All right. Order. Counsel, explain what's going on here. It's painfully clear now. You tried to prevent these witnesses from telling the truth. Absolutely not. The prosecution knows nothing of this. Then who's behind this? Who tried to make you keep your mouth shut? Well, that's classified. So you're prepared to be tried as conspirators to this murder, are you? You wouldn't. This can't be happening. Ranusuke, judging from the way they're reacting to this, I'd say they were sworn to silence by someone with considerable influence. However, I don't believe Uchi has any idea about it. What are you saying? I mean, to wield that kind of influence, there's only a handful of possibilities. It could only have been the government, the military, or the police, I suppose. Well, any idea about who might be behind this? If we can affirm who tried to silence the witnesses, then we can continue our pursuits. So we need the name whoever it was who tried to make the witnesses keep their mouths shut. Of course, we'll need to have evidence before we make any firm accusations. Evidence that proves whoever it was really did wield his or her powers here. But how? How can we possibly... Remember how we made progress before? We examined this piece of evidence in more details and found a new clue as a result. Oh yes, that's right. Well, that's not the only piece of evidence we have, is it? We need to re-examine everything and make sure there's nothing we've missed. There's no time to lose. I want answers. If it's proven that these witnesses have been manipulated, I assure you the penalty will be severe. Please, wait. Your Excellency, I had no idea about any of this. I swear to every Shinto god. I knew nothing. And what does the defense have to say about all this? Well, Your Excellency? No time to think. I'm just going to have to close my eyes and shut out the first name that comes into my head. Okay, but we want to examine first, so we're going to go... Besides the prosecution, the only person with a necessary influence to manipulate the witnesses is... Okay, so we need to... How do we go to... Can I not examine things? Options? No, how do I go to my court record? Well, you know what I think it is? I think it's the waiter. And I don't think the waiter's a waiter because he was very nervous about giving his business card. My plan was to look at the business card, but anyway. Let's present this guy. Well, surely that would be Satoru Hosonaga-san. Hosonaga-san, the waiter who took the stand earlier? Poppycock! What possible reason would a waiter have to make these witnesses give false testimony? Not to mention the fact that even a head waiter could not possibly have that level of influence. For once, I would agree with you. If, that is, the man truly were a waiter. What? If he truly were? Come on. Time to hit it. Oh, I missed that. The truth about Satoru Hosona's real identity is proven by this evidence. Alright, I want to look at this. Let's examine. Let's flip it and read it. Well, that's unexpected. What is? Look, do you see it? It says the witness's name here. Satoru Hosonaga. Well, yes, business cards do tend to show the person's name. That's sort of the point. It's not the name that's unexpected. It's his job title. His job? Oh! Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga. Primary and Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau. Inspector? What on earth? I have no idea. But let's face it, the police have a lot of power and influence. If they're wielding it somehow here, the waiter's business card information has been updated in the court record. Good stuff. Okay, let's see. We can present this now. All right. Oh, we can back out. Oh, I don't want to read this again. Dang it. And there's no quick option as always, but you can click through it now pretty fast. Okay, just gotta get to a point where I can hit B. Back. Okay, so we're gonna present this as evidence. Present.
Yes!
Yes! The plan of the restaurant sketched by the man in question? I agree. It shows a great deal of attention to detail, but I'm not sure we can conclude any... Sorry, Your Excellency. That's the back of the card. It's the back of the card that's of interest. I beg your pardon? Or perhaps I should have said the front. Yes, it's the front of the back of the card. That's where the telling detail is. Would somebody please explain what this overexcited student is trying to say? Hosonaga-san sketched the plan of the restaurant on the reverse side of his business card. The front of that business card reveals the man in question's profession, his true profession. The waiter's profession? But that's surely... Good gracious! That's right, Your Excellency. The card reads, Chief Inspector, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau. What? The waiter is a police detective. I haven't heard any mention of this before. Why haven't I heard any mention of this before? The Imperial Police Bureau has immense power, absolute powers, as far as regular civilians are concerned. So, witnesses there in the stand. Was it in fact the waiter who gave you your orders? Was it he who told you not to mention that you had seen this foreign gentlewoman at the scene? Well... Hold it! I love it. Oh, here he is. Inspector Hosanaga. I was worried something like this may happen. The moment you asked me to submit my sketch as evidence, I realized it was a possibility. Uh-oh. Something's about to go down. The court will take this plan and add it to the court record as evidence. Well... Is there a problem? Hand the plan to the court officer at once. Of course. Here you are. We might have just got ourselves out of this. Ah, yes, I remember now. He did act strangely when the judge asked him to hand over his business card. Excuse me. I strive to carry all investigations flawlessly. It's my guiding principle, but I let myself be distracted when I made that sketch. It was an unusually careless mistake. So you mean to say you really are a detective? But why would a detective be working as a restaurant waiter? Ah, of course. Your salary must be terrible. I was working undercover. Undercover? Yes. There have been a series of incidents at the restaurant recently. In order to investigate, I decided to get a job there as a waiter, working undercover. Incidents at the restaurant? What kind of incidents? He's not going to tell us. Secret. That would be classified police information, which I am not at liberty to divulge. However, I can state categorically that they are unrelated to this case of homicide. Very well then, Inspector Hosanaga, but you will elaborate on one point for the court. Of course, Your Excellency. We have just heard new information from two witnesses besides you. That at the time of the shooting, there was in fact another person present at the victim's table. If that is indeed true, clearly you would also have been aware of this person's presence, having served at the table in question. However, your testimony did not allude to this other diner. Therefore, I'm led to assume that in your professional capacity as a police officer, you required these witnesses to be in agreement. Would that be correct? Correct, Your Excellency. Unbelievable! As I suspected. Bang! As soon as I heard the gunshot, I ran out of the kitchen to see what had happened. The victim sat slumped in his chair, and beside him, in hand, stood the accused student. Sitting opposite the victim at the same table was a young lady, whom I'm guessed to be an Englishwoman. So the truth comes out. I immediately sealed off the restaurant and reported the incident to the Bureau. It was then that I received some special orders. Special orders? You mean to say... Remove the Englishwoman from the scene at once. It was made clear that the Englishwoman's presence at the restaurant was to be concealed. Those were my orders. But what if the Englishwoman was the killer? I think it would be in everyone's best interest not to pursue that idea. What? The Empire views the friendly terms of its relationship with Britain more highly than anything at the moment. An Englishman has been murdered on our soil. To name an Englishwoman as the primary suspect? This guy pushes up his glasses a lot. Well, without irrefutable evidence, that would be completely out of the question. So that's the reason for the disappearance of the Phantom Woman in this case. But it's not right. These guys are all starting to sweat a little bit. No one knows what to say. Oh, man. One possibility does spring to mind. What do you mean, Kazuma? Umeå University is currently hosting a number of exchange students from Great Britain, and I'm fairly certain that one of them, studying in the medical facilities research laboratory, or laboratory, however you say it, is a young English woman. What? You're a shrewd man. I can see why you're the chosen candidate for the overseas study tour. You mean, when I remove the woman from the scene of the crime, I thought it prudent to check her identity first. Then the court demands that you name the lady in question at once, Inspector. Name it, Inspector, name it! The Englishwoman sitting at the university professor's table was a certain Ms. Giselle Bretz. She is indeed a foreign student studying in the research laboratory of Umeå University Medical Facility. What is happening here? Oh man, I admit that under orders from the police bureau, I erased all evidence of this lady's presence at the scene and ordered these witnesses to make no mention of her in their testimonies. So it's corrupt police. What else is new? It must now be up to your excellency to decide how to deal with this situation. Slam! Very well. My thoughts on the matter are as follows. Thus far, the case presented to the court has been underpinned by a particularly critical premise. Namely, that the victim was dining alone. However, as we have now discovered that this premise is false. It would be a discreditation of our justice system to ignore the truth and give a ruling at this point. Objection! But, Your Excellency, that would mean missing the noon deadline of a ruling in order to send the telegraphic report to Great Britain. Our own government will surely be very displeased by such actions. Calm yourself, Counsel. I will not allow the government of our country or any other to influence the proceedings of my courtroom. Ugh. Inspector Hosonaga? Yes, sir. You will locate this Giselle Brett and escort her to the courtroom with utmost urgency. At once, Your Excellency. But that means we'll be going against the special orders you were given from the police bureau. As I said before, it is my guiding principle to carry out all investigations flawlessly. So it won't be a problem? What's up with this dude? Nothing will get in my way. Alright, I'm sure we're heading for a recess soon. Oh, court will be adjourned briefly. The prosecution must call the English student Giselle Brett to the witness stand. Do I make myself clear? Yes. He feels like he's lost his case. Your Excellency. Good. Then we will have a 30-minute recess before reconvening. Bam. And I think that's the end of the first case. Yeah, to be continued. There we go. All right, everyone. Thank you for watching the first episode of Ace Attorney. Thank you so much for coming, guys. If you want to see more of this, let me know, and I will produce more videos. If you don't, and you just want to play it on your own, that's cool too. But I will kind of bow to what you guys want. If you're enjoying this kind of stuff, leave a comment down below and let me know what you think is going to happen in this case and whether you want me to continue with the other parts. But until next time, everyone, thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you again real soon. Goodbye, everyone.